Number 2 is not the goal. Number 1, lock and load. Hall of Fame, rock and roll. Call my name, Hoffa goes.
So, I heard that you oppose closing Rikers Island.
Yes.
Why?
Because I've been locked up on Rikers Island. The first 13 years, they stuck me in the dormitory when they lost my paperwork. 40 guys in a dormitory. They usually had an African-American woman. All she had was a body alarm, correctional officer. Most correctional officers now are women of color. They get sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, the gangs, then they don't even have the Bing solitary confinement now. You get a timeout like I used to give my sons. 4 hours in the corner, and then they put you back in the general population with these COs.
Right.
You got 10 buildings. 7 of them are used. 3 of them are empty. You've got some men, some women who are mentally ill. They need treatment. You can rehab some of that empty space. The worst problem is ventilation. That's always been the worst problem in Rikers Island. But the way it is now, the gangs rule Rikers Island.
Right.
Every tier. And they mix the same gang members together. Are you out of your mind? So they put Trinitarios with Trinitarios, MS-13, Bloods with Bloods, Crips with Crips. They don't mix them up. And the correctional officers, they all work 12 hours. It's like a 911 call.
Yeah.
And they're lucky that they can control Rikers Island. So now they created these community jails for them. First, it was going to cost $8 billion. $2 billion a community jail. Now it's up to $16 billion. It'll soon be $32 billion. This always happens when the city or state gets involved in a building project. What I would do is turn that into affordable housing, because some of them are already being constructed, fix up Rikers Island, and create a space where the inmates are safe, the COs are safe, everybody who works there is safe. Bernie Kerik, I was there when Bernie Kerik was the correctional commissioner for Rudy Giuliani. He grew up in the projects of Patterson, used to get along great with blacks and Hispanics. He ran the jail system in Passaic before he got on board with Rudy.
Right.
Man, you were safe walking the hallways. I lectured at Rikers Island. I taught in the high school. I did radio programs from Rikers Island. And let me tell you something. I went back to the kitchen in the morning for the breakfast that I used to have, in which the pancakes I had. Could I have a second order of pancakes? Absolutely.
Right.
Best pancakes I ever had, biscuit. Huge boxes of it. And it's the inmates who are there, culinary, learning different skills that they'll use once they're released. Most of the men and women there because they can't make bail. But I also know some of the families could give the bail money out, but they don't want them coming back home. Every case is a different case. You got to look at them individually and autonomously. The feds now are running Rikers Island. It's in receivership because Eric Adams did such a poor job. But the feds have done a lousy job. If you go to the federal lockup in Sunset Park, that prison's a mess also. So it needs to be completely reformed. Once you've been locked up there or you've been there, you know what to do. Do you think in your wildest dreams that Zoran Mandami knows anything about Rikers Island? Do you think Andrew Cuomo knows anything about Rikers Island? Other than 10 years ago, he was saying, close it, close it. Now he said, well, I don't want to close it. They don't know. Where are you going to put these men and women in the interim? And then you got the juvie jails, the one in Brownsville, the one in the South Bronx. Ooh.
Okay.
They are really out of control.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to understand you got to talk to people who are in corrections. You got to talk to the inmates. A lot of inmates, once they're in there, man, they catch beatdowns. They got to give up their commissary, their phone privilege. They're almost like they're indentured servants.
What's the first order of business when you become mayor?
I got to get the insurance back for the police. It's called qualified immunity. It's a $5 word. It's a fancy word. Nobody knows that. You may have seen me in the 2 debates. I tried to explain it to the public. Police officers now can be personally sued for actions that they take, nor the civil servants. Look at Andrew Cuomo. He's being sued by 13 women that work for him, one is state trooper, female. And we've already paid out $20 million in settlements. It'll be $60 million when all is said and done, because he had qualified immunity as governor. They all have qualified immunity. not the cops. The city council took that away in 2021. Eric Adams, I put the bulletproof vest on for 22 years. I was a cop. He was a house mouse. He was never an active cop. But he didn't stand up for the cops. So you can't retain cops. You can't recruit cops if you don't provide the same insurance that all civil servants have.
But do you think that was the direct result of that action kind of lowered police brutality and people being shot?
Well, look, there's no doubt it was police brutality. I was a victim of police brutality. Remember,
as a victim of police brutality.
Not only that, stop and frisk. They used to stop me and frisk me all the time. Hey, Sliwa, come over here.
Right. So
well, let
I'm
me
trying
explain.
to figure out if you've
explain.
been on the receiving end,
Right.
why remove the thing that keeps people from being victimized?
First off, the police department then was completely different than now. It's a majority police department. Most of the men and women are minorities who are the majority. It's not the old white ethnics any longer. They're being phased out. They're not joining like they used to join. The recommendations are their fathers, their mothers, their grandparents. By the way, you get 5 points on the test if you live in New York City, which helps. Because 5 points on the test helps you to become a police officer. But I also know the pressures that they were put under. Let's look at Stop and Frisk. I saw it when Bill Bratton first did it with Rudy Giuliani. That was his first police commissioner, then Safer, then Kerry. They got about 150,000 Stop and Frisk a year.
Right.
It was challenged in court. It was proven to be constitutional. Then Bloomberg, who knows nothing about the streets, he knows Wall Street. He knows who gots about the streets. He demands that there's a quota. 5 a day. You had to fill out a 250 index card. Every cop would have to do 5 stop and frisks a day. So what do? You wait to the end of the day. You haven't stopped anybody yet. You see 5 guys of color walk out at a train station, up against the wall, search them. Nickel, dime bags, here, there. If you did that on Wall Street, you'd be coming up with cocaine. You did it anywhere else, you're going to find contraband.
Right.
Bloomberg wanted numbers. Patty Lynch, who was the PBA president, publicly said, you're killing us in the inner city. We're being forced to do stop and frisk, not because of probable cause, because there's a bulge here, we think it's a gun. No, because we got to fill out these stupid 250 forms so that your numbers can look good. Right. And then remember when he decided to buy the presidency, how did that work out? $1 billion, all he got was America's Samoa. And Warren. Remember, Elizabeth Warren eviscerated him like Kill Bill twice on the stage. He then went on an apology tour. Remember? He went to A.R. Bernard's church, Pennsylvania Avenue, Atlantic Boulevard, Canarsie, that mega church. I'm sorry. Forgive me for stopping frisk. You imposed a quota. Quotas are bad for tickets. Yeah. They're horrible when you put it on human beings. And ICE now has quotas. Which means instead of going after the bad hombres, the drug dealers, the gangbangers, the sex traffickers, the narco-terrorists, now they're having to pick up guys and gals who are working to feed their families who become essential workers. Because you think my 3 sons are going to work in the back of a restaurant or in the hospitality industry or pick crops or pack crops or work in a slaughterhouse? We need them. They're essential workers. As long as they're not committing crime. Right. We got to figure out a way for them to stay because they're not all going back. I tell my Republicans, there's like 20 million migrants. What do you think they're all going back? Now, if they're here to commit crime, yes. But if they're working hard and they're providing us essential services that Americans won't do, most Americans won't do those jobs, why are we having ICE pick them up just to meet a quota? And I know ICE agents, some who are former guardian angels, say, this is bad, Curtis, this quota. Before, we had to go out, we had to really do investigation because bad guys, bad gals know how to hide in the shadows.
I was a victim of that a lot of times, just minding my business. And, it was really uncomfortable.
Of course.
I had to avoid certain places because I knew there would be heavy police presence there.
Right, and remember, you could blame the police. It's easy because they're the boys and girls in blue. But it was Bloomberg who enforced that quota. That's why I have no respect for him. That's why I'm telling you, billionaires, oofa. Influencers, insiders, oofa. What did he know about the streets? He would need a GPS if he had to drive around the city. Remember what he said about Queens? Oh, the only reason that Queens exists is so I could go to JFK and fly to the Bahamas. And people in Queens, they didn't, that's a diss and a dismiss.
Right.
That's why Queens exists, so that you can go over the Triborough Bridge, down the Grand Central, the Van Wyck to JFK to take your private jet to the Bahamas. You see how they have a disdain for working class people? And he wasn't born that way. He was the son of a mail delivery guy. He didn't have two nickels to rub together. Came up with a good idea, these machines. He made his money fair and square, but he has no sense for working class people.
I believe that because when the transit workers went on strike in 2005, he called us thugs.
Yeah.
And we was hardworking. I wasn't on the job at the time, but he viewed us as thugs at the time, so kind of makes sense.
Well, most transit workers are people of color.
Yeah.
You could extrapolate from that. Does he believe a stereotype that black and Hispanics are thugs?
Wow.
They'll never explain themselves. But when you get into that world, I've been in those conversations. My God, what they think of average working class people. And many of them used to be working class, but they reach a certain level. They think they're entitled. They think they're better than everyone else. And they think that everybody has a price. That's a Italian expression.
Right. All right. So listening to you, what you were saying about ICE, how do you feel about everything that's going on? If you were elected, what would you do about it?
Well,
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.